it doesn't get better, right? But at the same time, I think it's good to hear each other out, and I think it's good to voice those frustrations. Do you have any food by chance, or IFAX, or anything?
I have IFAX, yes.
Okay, can I have a couple, please?
Yeah, we're gonna be here for a while.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know what? There you go.
Oh, thank you. So, I'm sort of just trying to hit the nail on the head a little bit with maybe, you know, the overall feeling. My recommendation to you is, truthfully, Duncan, you have a good head on your shoulders. You're good people. I would not try and paint yourself in negative light. I would just be more proactive.
All right. So on to the next category.
Yeah, what's up?
I guess this is like a mega category because it's recruitment, training, and retainment. Or the three things I call it. All of it is awful, including retainment, which you'd think people are at least be trying to fix that one. But when I brought up retainment, I was pretty much scoffed at and told that's on for people to, take breaks when they need it, as if that's going to make them feel better when they come back and nothing's changed. Much like you, I also like to be proactive and work on things and figure out ideas of ways to improve things that are clearly not working. I'm the kind of person that notices that we clearly. I made this comparison. We're like in an office, and I didn't help that Slacks. When I asked him if he had any previous experience with running something, he said no, because he ran a farm. But it seems almost like the captains used to work in an environment where there was a fully staffed maintenance division that would restock the vending machines, that would clean up the tables and clean up the toilets, and do all the stuff that maintenance and faculty people do. And it seems to me like
Hey, what's up,
they've
Spencer?
started this new startup, and they didn't have maintenance in mind, and now they're confused as to why the vending machines aren't being restocked, why the bathrooms aren't being
Did you use
cleaned,
this
and why
analogy with Slacks?
yes, but I don't think he understood it.
I'm not gonna write it down just for sake of him maybe knowing who's
Yeah,
voicing.
I'm saying it so that it's easier for me to explain that.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah,
Hey, what's
I
up,
feel
bro?
like
How are you?
there's a
Love you,
there's a
fuzz buzz.
large
Oh
lack
my
of when I
god.
actually made this comparison. He said, "Do you want us to hire janitors?" And I was like, "You're taking it too literal."
Oh god. Okay. Oh boy.
But you understood what I meant, right?
To a fucking T.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening with recruitment, training, and retainment.
Let me
Is
let me find a way to write this real quick so that it keeps you anonymous.
all right. We'll let you figure out how to write that because I'm on a roll here with this. I'm kind of like pausing my roll.
Well, I'll come back to it and reword it. We'll just move on.
Yeah. So the issue we're having that I see that I keep seeing them just consistently make the same issues or make the same mistakes and not fix it is that we're not retaining the people we have. There's multiple people from the skeleton crew who I've just never seen. Um, we're recruiting new people that are also disappearing. I've looked at Shift One's roster. They have two. They have two. They have three PPOs, two from the academy and one from the one fast track hire, and the rest are all cadets. Um, Shift Three, you guys are been pretty good. You got like one cadet that disappeared off the face of the earth, and in Shift Two, we had like four people just disappear overnight. In the 4 or 5 people disappear from the last academy. Um, I don't think they're thinking about the fact that everyone they hire, that 2 out of 6 people end up staying. 4 realize that, wow, this is a lot of work and it looked cool in the tin, but it just ain't for me. And they think that the same 6 people who are FTOs are going to FTO every single academy that's going to come up, and they're not really considering that not everyone who becomes a police officer wants to become an FTO or even wants to go anything past officer. Um, it it's going to be very apparent in a few more academies that there's just not going to be any FTOs. There's going to be cadets that are not being trained or speed ran through because we just want to get through them so we don't have any more of them, which they already were doing right now, as a lot of the cadets that are PPOs now are making the silliest mistakes on duty right now. Just this academy, I could tell you this since you're both a senior and an FTO. We had 8 people come in and we had 2 people walk out. Uh, 2 of which need to do makeups, 2 of which got let go because one couldn't read, write, or count, and the other one had a massive attitude issue. And they were going to keep him until he committed a crime. They were going to keep him and try and fix him when we have 700 to 5 we have 500 to 700 other applicants that don't have the attitude issue he has because he was selected. They were going to try and fix him until was turned out that he had actually committed a crime off duty. And that's what broke the straw. It was the fact that he committed a crime, not that he walked into it.
There's a lot to write down, but go ahead.
Yeah, let me roll and give like a summary after you can write down. Um, he walked into the academy, was told not to do something, and then he did it anyway. The other one, like I said, he couldn't read, write, or count, and I don't know how any of these 2 guys made it past the interview process when there's so many other good candidates that could have taken the place of second academy. I don't know why that is. I don't know how they're being selected. I think it's silly. And then lastly, they should definitely be selecting people based on a lot of things. But one of them is, are they actually in that shift? Which we're finding out now that people are being hired and then they lied about what shift they wanted to go to, and they lied. They can make any excuse in the book, but they straight up lied about the shift they wanted to go. And then some of them are just like, we want full timers and people 20 hours a week, but then some of them are just not. And I don't know, like, are they? I don't know how they're making. I don't know how the interviewing because Slacks does it on his own. For shift 1, I heard from Ruth that she had interviewed a bunch of people, and a lot of them didn't pass the interview stage. And I think it bothers me on a personal level that people are being denied and then they're not being informed that they got denied. And I've already brought that just so you're aware as you're writing this down. I already brought this one up to Ruby earlier because it just happened again, where Slacks had said that he had denied a bunch of people. And I said, well, do they know that they're denied, or are they just like
Waiting.
waiting for a text message that's never going to come? And they don't know that they're denied. And personally, that doesn't sit right with me. That's if I was in their shoes, I would want closure to move on. And then retainment. I did ask this question to the FTOs, and they all seem to give the answer that they're still going to be here a few academies down the line, and that it's okay because we have PPOs who want to be FTOs.
Give me a minute to just reread all what I have so far. Make sure that I'm following properly. Just give me like
Sure.
20 seconds.
Sure.
All of it is awful. Retainment is awful and practically scoffed at and told to take breaks when they need it, even if that means that they come back and nothing changes. The issue I keep seeing consistently is that we're not retaining the people we have. There's multiple people from the skeleton crew that don't show up. Even more noticeably, have not shown up. Cadet and full officers. There are concerns that FTOs will burn out. Retainment of said cadets are not showing up. And yet we have people at academies who have attitude issues and can't read or write. Yeah, we have 700 applicants who are eager to learn. I don't understand how some of these people made it through the interview process. People who are denied in the interview process are not being informed they are being denied. The fact that they are not does not sit right, as closure is needed. Okay.
Am I good to continue?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I don't understand why it sometimes sometimes things that Slack says will immediately contradict either within the next 2 minutes or the next 24 hours. And the example of this is um
Do you want me to address this as Slacks, or would you like me to keep this portion anonymous? Would you like me to just state that?
I think all three need to hear this. The issue is because I think this is an issue. It's
Okay. All right. Bear with me.
the yeah, I'll give you a minute
Um,
when you're good.
is this a captain issue across the board or Slack specifically?
I think it's a captain issue across the board.
Okay. Let
But I'm
me.
not entirely I can't be too certain, but I just let me cook, all right?
Uh, give me 1 second to catch up.
Okay.
Um.
I'm about to raise my voice too, so bear with me because I needed. This is one of those I need to emphasize with a loud voice thing.
Please, just please be mindful. Okay.
I will be mindful. It's pretty late.
I don't understand why, based on assumption, that there is a captain issue across the board regarding.
Regarding um the the hiring, we need to hire more cops, but we don't need to hire more cops because in the same breath, I heard um we don't want to hire too fast because we want to make sure our quality is really good. But also in response to wanting to say this guy didn't pass the academy to the guy who couldn't count to 10 was we need more cops. To which I was actually about to yell, but then someone else spoke over me. And I was gonna say, you're telling me that you can't replace the guy who can't count with any of the other 700 applicants? It seems like we need more cops. And I know they're looking for a specific thing that they're looking for, but to I don't know. This academy class in general for shift 2 was an insult, an absolute insult. There was two, not one, but two people in that were brought in that are just bottom of the barrels picks. And his response to us saying no to the guy who can't count was, "But we need more cops." It seems like he's willing to let standards slip if he likes the person, because he's the only person who voted yes on that guy, the guy who can't count. And to be fair to him, to be fair to the guy who can't count, he has a willingness to learn, and you know, do you know Bob Eagle?
Not very well.
Okay,
God damn, I'm gonna need food.
have a Vola get some food for you.
Okay. Hey, Vol, I hate to do this. We're still talking. Could you possibly grab me a couple bags of chips from downstairs?
Yeah, I guess I could. You got the money?
I'll wire it to you. I promise.
You don't got the... okay, I'll go grab some chips.
I get $8 in my pocket. You want it? Oh, there you go.
It's $500.
See where that went. See where that went.
It's
right
right
in
by
front
your
of you.
feet. It's right by your feet.
Okay, I overpaid.
Yeah, that works.
I overpaid, and it's to get on his good side.
Okay, fair.
He doesn't like me. So to be fair, he's a good guy, but you're telling me out of the 700 applicants we got, some of which are highly experienced cops, and some of which are freshers, that you need cops so badly. This is the guy that you want. But then when I say, hey, can we bring in like a couple experienced cops who don't need that many FTO sessions to become PPO? No, we need to go slow. We need to make sure the quality is good. We need to make sure they're good people that aren't gonna, just regress to their old behaviors, which is a valid concern. But I do think proper screening and proper interviews that check for these these types of behaviors helps instead of we're too scared to hire people because they might lower our quality. I'm of the mindset, and I've said this before, so be careful with this one, is that you can have quality and quantity. But the way I see it, this is what I foresee, and it's what I keep saying, and Slacks even said to me, you must be a time traveler, you must come from the future or something, because you can sort of see the future, is that
Do you want
and
me
I
to note
don't.
this down?
No, I just want to note to you that
Mhm.
what I'm saying is
No, no,
not
you're good. You're good.
not of a time traveler. It's of this is really obvious things that anyone who has been in any sort of management position before can sort of see with their own two eyes and ears. Is that in the next few academies, if they keep hiring freshers who need to take maybe three, like right now, this Penny person is a really fresher. She's still a cadet. She's around constantly. If we keep doing this thing where we're hiring people who are off the street who are extremely green, there's going to come a point where they're they're not going to become FTOs. Um, there's other officers who become officers who are not going to become FTOs, and it's going to be the same 7 people. And I'm telling, I already heard it today. I already heard Kit say she was burnt out. Is that they're not gonna they're not gonna be trained. There won't be FTOs. You need to have a constant flow of blood in the system. You need to be constantly hiring. Obviously, we're not doing a hiring freeze,
Yeah.
which would be crazy if we did. But there should never be a hiring freeze because the truth of the matter in this line of work is our lifespans, not just our actual lifespans, but like the lifespans of our career are relatively short. Some people get all the things they want to get done and then dip. Like right now, you can look at the roster. I'm not even going to mention names on the roster. All you do is look at it and go, have I seen this person at all in the past 2 weeks? No. Wonder why that is. And you could wonder why that is. There's going to be a multitude of reasons. Uh, Maybe it wasn't for them, et cetera, or that they're just unhappy, like you said. Who knows? The point is, it's going to happen. I've stated that there's going to be 6 people coming into these academies, and I'm pretty sure we're only going to retain 2 of them. Like, yeah, we got 2 that are coming through. We got 2 that need makeup days, and out of that 4, I don't see all 4 queuing up every day. And if I do, once they become PPOs, 3 of them might just stop coming around because they got PPO. They got the ability to ride alone, and now like I did it. Now I'm just gonna keep my trophy and you know keep it as a trophy.
That's fair.
Uh,
On the note, real quick, of like for the examples of someone very green, like Penny, like you mentioned,
yeah,
I want to see more cadets like Penny. She has personally, and maybe this is the way that I view it, has shown a consistent effort to want the willingness to learn and to develop as an officer. She asks the harder questions that maybe others are afraid to ask. She's willing to accept when she makes mistakes, and she's willing to learn and improve from her mistakes. And she has, in my opinion, showed drastic improvement. And it's people like Penny who I am excited to teach. Honestly, from an FTO stance, watching somebody like Penny make the improvements that she has, in my experience, has actually been like a breath of fresh air for me.
I would love to have more pennies, but I'd also like to have a foundation first because it seems like we're building all the top of the foundation. We don't have the foundation because we can train Penny, and then what happens when the skeleton crew's time is up and it's just Penny by herself? But I also believe we can build a foundation while also retaining uh not retaining while also training new fresher cadets at the same time. I've referred to this as when I spoke to the people previously, so you have to be careful on this one, as a second skeleton crew. So like a second group of people who'd be able to come in, understand what we're trying to do, understand the culture, and can take the day to day while we're training new people. But I was told that was a dumb idea.
Well, I agree with you on some fronts. I disagree with you on a couple, but I think they're respectful disagreements. I think you're right that we need a couple more people who can help foundationalize the process. So right now where we need to be is we need to focus on having FTOs that can help train up cadets. There are a lot of great cadets that are right now ready to pursue, and I think we're getting close to the point of people being ready to take on their final evaluations. I want to make note that in saying that, we are going to need a couple academies. I think the direction we're going in the PD personally, and this is an outsider looking in right now, from the way that I see it, as unbiased as I can, that horn is gonna piss me off. That fucking tram can shove a... I hate it. The way I see the PD is that not annoying?
I don't hear it.
Holy fuck.
You mean to rip a band-aid off about the cadets?
No.
In particular.
I think the academy is a snowball effect. I think the process at which we get to it's a snowball rolling downhill, right? We are starting very small. You're 100% right about that. As we slowly start to be on a decline, not literally, I'm talking, you know, gravity, as the snowball gets bigger and as we actually get things rolling and moving, our goal is to get to the point of being a well-oiled machine, right? And I think right now we are not a well-oiled machine, and I don't think anyone would disagree with that. I don't even think the captains would necessarily disagree with that. I think most people would agree that we are not a well-oiled machine right now.
We got food.
Oh, thank God. Oh. Thank you, Avola.
I'm gonna rip this band-aid.
Hold on. I'm not done making my point. Hold on. Let me eat
All right.
first before I fucking pass out on you. I think the point we need to get at is so yes, I think we could use a couple more fast track hires who we can help out the FTO process. But I think to state that everybody needs past experience, or most people need past experience to get this ball rolling, is not true. I think that I do think that there is a slow process to be had, and until we get to cycle in some of these cadets into the FTO process, I think it's gonna be slow. I think we can make improvements. I think we can make drastic improvements to where we're at right now. And
I have an immediate counterpoint.
Yeah, go ahead.
These cadets have to learn in the conditions that we're currently dealing with, which is
Yes.
awful conditions. So I guess a good point that was brought up today was some of them haven't even learned how to process because they don't really go through processing. I'm gonna rip this band-aid off and say, shift 2 alone. I'm just gonna point this out. Pistachio has fallen off the face of the earth. Buck is lost. Johnston is lost, and Flemings is lost. They need help. I don't know why they're alone right now.
Have you addressed captains about this and Shift 2 command about that?
Shift 2 FTOs have been are aware of just how lost these guys are.
Okay.
But to put it in perspective, I've had 2 issues with Buck, and I'm just super curious. One, like, I don't know. I think he needs more time, and definitely more than 2 months. With Johnson, oh my God, with Johnson, he I'll put in perspective, and this was already addressed with the other FTOs. Just give you an idea of just how lost these guys are. There was a call at Mosley's about a gun and people circling. Um, Slacks told me to get into a different car, and I hopped in with Buck because I didn't have a car and I need to get over there fast. It was me with Buck. We arrive at Mosley's. Johnson and Bobby are the backup. Mary, who did the 911 call, comes over and starts talking to Buck. And he's just kind of stonewalling her, and she notices it, and she's like, "All right, well, I guess I'll fuck myself then." And I try to cut in and be like, red felon. Okay, I went on the radio and said, "Be on the lookout for red felon circling the Mosleys." And she kept talking to him, and all this guy says to her is, "Cool," as in, like, it's like hitting someone with a singular K. You know, like when you're saying something, you
Yeah.
just go K. That's what it felt like, and she took it that way too. And she walked up and said, "All right, go fuck myself then." Then she ran back
That
over and
needs
said, "There's
to
someone."
that needs to be addressed by FTOs. If you witnessed
Yeah,
it, either you address it or you need to bring that. You
it
should
gets
address it,
worse.
and you should be bringing that to an FTO because.
It's already been brought up, but it gets worse. I'm just giving you
Okay.
an idea of just how lost these cadets
Hi,
are.
Amanda.
Um, there is another person there at the scene who said there's a guy on the roof over there. Look over the roof. I did see someone on there. Turns out Johnson was on the roof. I don't know why. He didn't communicate why he went up to the roof and started looking around. And then Bobby was also driving around a car, not saying anything. And then Johnson was off the roof and then on one of the other streets from either Covenant or Grove and said, "Can I get 52s over here on this street?" And there is a point where I realized that this situation not only was it code 4, but these officers are just like they're not doing anything. So I just asked Buck to drop me off at MRPD and told him to go back to patrol. That is what our PPOs are looking right at, without any sort of guidance, without being with an FTO. Um, some of them, Johnson, he's an old cop, and
I mean,
he's doing some.
I'm just gonna cut you real quick. If people aren't ready for PPO, we need to. You need to inform FTOs. This guy's not ready. These are the experiences I had. These are not minor. These are major. We need to trust these people with guidance to patrol and operate on their own. We need them to have the entrustment that they are able to do the job for the most part. The main concerns there are obviously understanding people's rights, understand how to not violate someone's rights. We need the bare minimum. Someone needs to understand the job to a fucking T. And the technicalities, you can ask questions after, but if you can't take a simple statement from somebody, that absolutely needs to be addressed, and PPO needs to either, one, be taken away until they can get more training, or two, they need to be sat down and explained what they're doing wrong. And if it's not major enough, they need to make immediate change and be, informed, hey, you need to make these changes, or, we're going to be keeping, we need to keep a closer eye on you. We need to know what's going on. If you can't show the improvement, then we have to talk about, PPO status. We need you to really listen, and we need you to prove that you can do the job.
Yeah, this was already brought up. It's just the point
Okay.
of me bringing it for this is to say that I do think, yeah, we need people who are willing to learn, but I think people are getting passed along fast because we need people on the streets. And Slacks has even said it himself, especially with trying to push the guy who can't count to 10 or can't even spell recruit a lot fast because he needs people on the street. I think there's a time and a place for people like Penny. And I think that's after we bring in the people who actually do need 2 weeks to train and not 2 months. And then once we have that foundation, we can start bringing in those new people that need time. But right now, we don't have a structure. We don't have a foundation. And I know people are afraid, and I get that people are afraid of bringing old people back and then letting them just do their old dogs and old tricks. But I
That's already
swear
happening.
it's already happening. But I feel like there's old dogs that can learn new tricks, and we already see a few of them. Everyone looks at the golden goose, Anita. They're like, you know, people like that can exist, right?
I mean, Duncan, I'm gonna be honest.
You're an old dog. You learn new tricks.
I mean, I keep telling people all the time, I don't care about the past. The past is the reason it failed. We're moving forward with new stuff. I think it's okay to refer to maybe something that happened, but if the foundation is that you did it 5 years ago, I don't want to hear it.
That's why I'm saying we need.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you, but
because I don't even know if that's because one of the guys we got rid of. One of the first things we said was, we don't care about the past. We're teaching it this way, so you're going to learn it this way. And one of the immediate thing he did once in the classroom portion was,
I know what River did.
Talk about the past. Yeah. So it's like these people that were saying if that's your thing, your whole thing, are passing the interview phase somehow.
Yeah, no, I'm
severely questioning the interview process and the hiring process. I genuinely think it's a lottery at this point.
That's something I will note down in your complaint. I think in terms of where you see we need to be, I think it's healthy to bring in people who are green with a different mindset. I think we learn better with people who have a different perspective in learning. I do think that we need a little bit more of an understanding as to why there is a lack of units in certain shifts. I will give you that. I'll tell you flat out right now. Do you know how many times around, let's see, in about 2 hours from now, we'll have 3 cops on duty?
Yeah, I can believe that.
Almost every day I've been around. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I think that you have a lot of concerns that most of us would agree with. And by most of us, I mean most of the people who are willing to hear you out.
I'm going to be honest, for your shift, for shift 3, I don't know how you're going to be able to withhold another academy.
Yeah, I don't know why we're, I don't want to say I don't know why we're hiring, but we are up like unbelievably good right now.
Wait, you think you're really up good right now for shift 3?
Are you kidding me?
Are you saying you shouldn't be hiring more?
Duncan, I'm not saying we shouldn't be hiring more, but we shouldn't do a full-fledged academy with a full class, maybe a half class right now. Have you seen how many officers we currently we had in that meeting room? We almost had every chair utilized. That's amazing.
Wait,
I couldn't.
Hold on. Are we talking about the same shift 3?
What are you talking about?
Out of all the people that were in that room, how many were shift 3?
By show of hands, I would have to go and check. I'll be honest with you, Duncan. Speaking with everybody who I've spoken to up to this point, everyone but except for one has told me that they are shocked at how good shift 3 has been in terms of unit number.
I think, respectfully, I think they're on crack, or they're not realizing that the amount of shift 2 people bleeding into 3 is there.
I mean, that's fair. I'll give you that. I notice we have unit drop by the time shift 1 happens, but I feel like it's so close in demeanor with each other that when we set up an academy an hour after the shift 3 meeting, I would argue most of these people are not going to be around 6 to 8 hours into shift 1, right? Now, I only bring this up because we need to be genuine for a minute. If the academy time was 6 a.m. and most people were available by 6 a.m., I'd probably argue that we'd have more numbers by 6 a.m. But we don't. I think we are hiring for the start of shift 3. I don't think we are pushing for the longevity of shift 3. And I don't think we're pushing for the longevity to bleed into shift 1. I think we need people. It's already happening with dispatch. I've already had a meeting with someone from dispatch that we need dispatchers to be around from 3 into 1, because we don't have dispatchers who are able to train anybody. And the one person who is currently running the whole show just had the other person leave them for a position down at the mayor's office. So they are running it alone, and they're unable to be around at these hours to train people. So they have requested that there's people with past experience to come in and actually prove that they are able to help run and build the foundation of dispatch. We have a shift 3 into 1 deficit across the board at the moment. And I would argue that, respectfully, if we were hiring for shift 3 starting at, let's say, 6 a.m., you would see a stronger unit number bleeding into 1. But I'll be honest, I think because we're starting so early in our shift, even my cutoff point is in about 3 hours at most. There's still a couple more hours to shift 3.
3 guy.
I'm not really that far in, though. I'm like 2 or 3 hours into 2, and I'm about 6 into 3.
All right, I'll use shift 1 as an example then, because that's probably where it's going to be hitting the most.
I was gonna say, to be honest, I think the addressment of issue for this specific concern, I actually don't think it comes from 3. If I'm being completely honest, I think most of the direct concern, because I think midway through 2 we actually have decent unit count from what I've seen, and I think bleeding into 3 we hold good units up until about the 5 or 6 o'clock point. The 6 o'clock point EST to the time shift 1 starts, I think we have a severe deficit, and I think most people would probably agree with that.
Shift 1 has no FTOs.
Yeah, that's a problem.
They do, but they don't. Aldo and Sonya, and then everyone else is sort of very flaky, and Aldo is complaining about it.
I mean, I'll note it down. I'll note a lot of this down. I just want to let you know that a lot of these complaints also need to be addressed with those shifts as well if you see them, because then I can't be around all shifts. I can't speak my opinion on shift 1 if I'm never around shift 1, if that makes sense. Respectfully
Well,
speaking.
what I'm saying, I'm using shift 1 as an example, but it's because they're getting the problem now. It's only a matter of time before 2 has the problem where there's more cadets than FTOs. And then obviously you can say, oh, well, we'll stop hiring then. But we're going to run into this issue where I'm going to say it right now. I don't think our average number is going to go as high as people think it is in the next 4 months. I think we're going to run into the same issues over and over and over again. It's only going to get worse. And I'm kind of at my limit, right? I've given this academy a shot. Was severely disappointed at the results of this academy. I'm hoping to train people, and hopefully people are queuing up. But the next academy, if I get the same bullshit, I'm probably just not going to FTO. And I'm sure I'm not alone in that. And I'm not going to do the thing where like I just don't FTO and don't tell anyone. I will straight up say you can remove my FTO cert. I'm just not going to do it.
And I think that's fair. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think we need more FTOs. I'll be honest.
We can't just pull them out of nowhere, though. I think people are kind of. It's already happening too. I'm already seeing it happening, where PPOs right now are being. I don't want to say like. Pressured, but like.
In what shifts?
Shift 1 and 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna let Anita's being treated like the golden goose is gonna be the big FTO person. I also think that all 3 of the fast track hires in shift 2, so Tips, Mateo, and Avery, are all being treated like future FTOs. Like it's like setting people up to be the depression the FTOs when they become that, so that we have more FTOs. But even if they want to do that, even if that's their goal to be FTOs, it's very apparent that they're riding and banking and betting and gambling on FTOs just coming out of nowhere, when a lot of people are just going to hit officer and then not go anywhere else after that. Maybe they don't want to train.
I mean, that's fine though. I mean, maybe I'm seeing it differently, but I see that as being okay.
Bob, I'll put it this way: if I have to help run an academy every 2 weeks because there's no other people at all that can do it in the next like
This
maybe
is the reality though. I'm just gonna cut you off. You're not required to be there. Even if you're told you're required to be there, hey Cap, listen, this weekend's not gonna work for me. Sorry, because I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. And I mean this. Sometimes you need to burn your hand on the stove to learn not to touch it when it's hot. What I mean by that is sometimes the captains are gonna have to realize we can address it all we want, right? We can scream till we're blue in the face.
they need to burn before they can
Yes,
realize that they made a mistake.
Yes.
But
Sometimes.
you know who pays for that, right?
Who?
Everyone on patrol who has to deal with having 4 people on duty for this 85th time 6 months into it.
The issue though is that the point that you're pinpointing, I don't think is going to resolve an issue. I think what we need to do though is, again, we have captains who are currently learning as well, and if they don't see an issue and they've been addressed with the issue, I'm going to be bringing the notes to them so that they can read this themselves and self-reflect, and hopefully we see change, because I'm not going to tell the captains you need to do this unless I feel like it is detrimental to our time on duty. If they have a shoddy academy because they don't have enough officers to help academy, they're gonna see that deficit.
They also have they already have a shoddy training period because, like I said, shift 2, everyone besides the fast tracks are struggling. I don't know why that is.
Here's the issue: is that each captain in each shift runs their own academy and their own interview process. I don't believe that there's a standard operating procedure that they're following on their process. They're sort of running their own shifts, keeping it across the board with their SOPs. But if there's a problem in shift 2, that is a shift 2 issue from what I'm seeing. If there's a problem with shift 1 and the way people are being treated in shift 1, that is a shift 1 issue. If there's concerns and questions about the way shift 3 is being handled, that is a shift 3 issue. Now, if the standard is dropping across the board, this is the opportunity for the captains to self-reflect. Okay, we are losing ground somewhere. There's somewhere where we are not gaining traction. Now we need to try and figure out where do we have to go to get back on track. And you can say it. I can say it. I think everybody can say it. Honestly, respectfully, I think a full FTO walkout is not an answer. But at the same time, I think we're going to see more people who are going to burn out. And, you know, at some point, captains are going to realize, and I don't mind having to sit down and having a blunt off-the-record conversation and say, listen, you guys got to get it together. But based on what you stated, I agree with you. I don't think that somebody who can't read or write, respectfully, should be passing the interview process right now. I think we need people who are willing to learn, though, which is where I bring in the analogy about, you know, more pennies of the PD. I think people like Penny. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Doctor.
Oh Jesus, you were so fucking loud. Hi, I need to call you back. I'm in a meeting. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Oh man.
I'm
just
sorry.
need a reference.
A reference? What do you? I don't know if I can reference you, Moose Knuckles.
For the form for application.
Did you fill out the form?
I'm working on it with Chastity.
Okay. I'll tell you what. I'll come down and talk to you after. Do you need a reference?
Oh, she said it helps a lot if you have one.
Okay. Because here's the thing, Moose Knuckle. Let me take a look at your record. Hold on.
I don't have nothing. Not even a ticket.
You have nothing on your record?
No, I've done nothing. I've been a good moose since I come back from the war.
Okay.
I would decline this guy just for being named a moose.
Okay. I'll tell you what, Moose Knuckles, let me come down and talk to you after. Fill out the process for now. I can add in my reference after. Because I want to test you. I like to give people a chance, but I've given people a chance in the past and they have failed my trust. I'm willing to give you a chance. For now, fill out the process as is, and I'm going to talk to you after, and I'm going to ask you some difficult questions for you to earn my reference.
Hey, you'll have to call me because I'm doing it over text because
You're fine.
Stumbles is around, and I don't want him to know. But call me. I'll show up.
All right. Sounds good. We'll talk soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Moose Knuckles wants to be a cop. I'm gonna ask him some very difficult questions before I give him my reference.
I'm gonna say this. I don't agree with a full FTO walkout, but I also know that it wouldn't do anything. Everything that I've kind of picked up from all the conversations I've ever had is that if people just leave, all they're gonna do is just do it themselves. Like if every single FTO were to just say, all right, I'm done FTOing in shift 2, Slacks would just do it himself instead of trying to fix the issue. I don't, like I told you, the retainment thing that I got scoffed at. Every single person that is a senior plus in shift 2 scoffed at the retainment and just said, hey, that's on people who don't, like, if you're not feeling well, it's on you. We're not gonna make accommodations or change
Yeah, I don't agree with that though. I don't agree with them scoffing at you. I think that that's a stupid thing to do. The reality is that we need to, and I've already done it in shift 3. FTOs need to reassure cadets and forget the FTO PPO check-in bullshit. I don't think that system's gonna work very well down the road, but I guess I understand why it's there. The area of concern that I want to focus on is I want to go to you, Duncan. I want to go to Coco. I want to go to Forte. I want to go to Penny, and I want to say, hey, how've things been? Right? How are you? Tell me what you're frustrated on. Do you feel like things are going good? Do you feel like you're getting enough help? Do you feel like you're able to do the job? And just ask some questions. Sometimes the resolution for these problems is to literally just have a one-to-one like you and I are having right now, where you get to hash out your concerns and where I think my pushbacks are based on your concerns. And, you know, just have a proper discussion. Because the issue, I think right now, is we are focusing on the image of how other people view us, when in reality, I actually think the issue of concern should be that we should be focused on how we treat each other. I really do think that we need to, you know, for lack of a better term, I really hate using this term, but I think it works here. Sometimes I think it's good to turn off cop brain. It's okay to, you know, cover up the badge for a second, sit down. Hey, Coco, how do you feel like things are going so far? Do you feel like you need extra help in an area? Do you have any questions? Almost every day I see Penny. Hey Penny, how did your FTO shift go? It went good. Oh, it went bad. Well, what was bad about it? It was really hectic. It was really crazy. My FTO, they did really good, you know, teaching me things, but it was really overwhelming. Okay, what part was overwhelming? Oh, when we got on scene, everyone was yelling. It was insane. Okay, you're gonna get that a lot. Sometimes you're gonna be in positions that are really difficult. Sometimes the best thing you can do is take one person and do what you can on that scene. Get their statement. Okay, sorry to pull you aside. There's a lot of talking, and I want to give you the one-to-one. And I truly, and I mean this, like, till I'm blue in the face, I guarantee you, when you walk away from our conversation today, even if you don't agree with a lot of the things maybe I came at to sort of rebut, or maybe the way that, you know, you came at me in the way that you wanted to, you know, voice frustrations, regardless of how you view this conversation, I would guarantee you that you're going to have a weight off your shoulders knowing that someone was willing to sit down and properly listen to your concerns and know that these are going to go to the captains directly, anonymously. Just that alone, you and I talking didn't change anything, but I guarantee you it'll change your attitude. And I want to do that for all of our cadets. And if they're not getting the help that they need, I want them to feel like that they are a part of, not that they are separate of.
I want to hammer this one because this is the last one I brought up for. This was intentionally the last one I brought up for a reason. It's the reason I walked up to you and said, I feel like I'm the baby at daycare. I just gained consciousness and I'm watching everyone slam a square peg into a round hole. Is because I know that's something that you want to do, but the overwhelming response that I've kind of gotten from across the board from seniors and other FTOs in shift 2 is it's not our job to worry about people's morales or retainment. And I was told the exact words of, this is normal, in regards to like, unrelated. I was talking about how the recruitment process and how people who are denied aren't actually being informed that they're denied, and I was told that's normal, and my response was, it doesn't have to be normal. You can tell people that they've been denied, and let them move on with their life, but to be told that this is normal, oh, it's on you to feel better or take breaks or to pace yourself. It's like, it's almost like the morale and retainment part is just completely disregarded and ignored, because some people are just built differently, I guess. And I think I I think
I'm sorry that this is a long conversation, dudes. This is
I don't know. I think people are just
this is
treating the job like, yeah, it's a job, so you have to hate your job. So
this is a good
you
conversation.
know, no one really
I
enjoys
know
their
that this is
job.
boring stuff and no one really
But
I don't think a lot of people really care, but
I'm gonna
this
be
is
honest,
like
Flop.
this is good.
If things are going the direction they're going, and it's not getting better, and like you said, we have to wait for the captains to burn their feet on the fire in order to see a meaningful change. At the end of the day, it's not just going to affect them, it's going to affect all of us, and I don't know if I can
Should
be
we're here
the
for it.
fourth unit
We've
on
been here for
duty
like 3
um
hours.
in on
2
month
hours.
3, when we probably should have had at least a good solid average of 19 or 20. I don't know if I can do it, man. And I'm almost at a point right now. I'm still gonna try it because I have this illusion that I can make a difference.
It's Jimmy 2 times win.
And
He's
while I
still
still have that
waiting. We
illusion
have
that I make a
another one
difference,
in
I'm gonna just
line.
try. Like, if I see a fry on the ground, I'm gonna try to clean it up. I'm gonna try to restock the vending machine when it's completely empty and people are wondering why there isn't any there. But I'm at a point where I kind of want to just like be put in a freezer and then get unthawed when things are better. I don't want to I don't want to wait for somebody else to learn very basic management mistakes that,
Let me ask you a question.
yeah.
Have you addressed your concerns on basic management skills to captains?
Yeah, even before there were seniors. And
So, real quick,
mhm.
you've addressed an issue that is happening. I have complaints from other people that also resonate with similar complaints. I'm going to, when I feel it is time, going to serve that plate of all the complaints to everybody. And I'm going to tell them this is not anything for anyone to feel guilty about. This is not anyone to feel frustration about. This is a moment of reflection. If they don't choose to make change based on the feedback that they have received from the UPD, Duncan, I'm going to be honest with you. You can't fix something that doesn't... You can't fix a squeaky wheel that keeps turning. I guess is the best way to put it. If they feel like things need to continue in motion the same way that they are, and in your claim, walking away or, having, just a step back is going to be counterintuitive because they're going to do it themselves, they're going to have to figure it out. And I mean that. I don't think that there's any resolution. If you come up with a resolution.
I had an idea and I was told it was stupid and that it's just going to cause issues. I said, next academy, why don't we just bring in people to the academy that all are of the same skill set or have previous experience, and weed out the ones that are going to be problems at the start. And I was told that's just going to give us problems. There's like this need to include completely green people in it, or it's going to be problems. A lot of the decision making doesn't make sense.
And that's fine. In retrospect, it's not fine, but what is fine is that the addressment of the issues are being brought.
I sure hope this is a solution because, like I said,
Do I think it's a solution? No. But when I sit down with the captains and I say, listen, this is what's going on. Don't ask me questions. Don't ask for clarification. What you're getting is raw input and raw data from every other member of the UPD. You guys need to take this and you need to figure it out. This is how people feel on duty. Don't start pulling people aside. Just start taking this for what it's worth. This is verbatim what people are stating and what they don't like. And if captains and members of command cannot fathom what they are viewing and they continue to go down this road, what comes around goes around. It's gonna bite them in the fucking ass.
yeah, like I said, if the next academy is just as what the fuck is this one, I'm just not gonna FTO.
That's fine. You
I'll
can
be a regular
you can make that
officer and
choice.
show them that not every officer wants to go above officer or FTO or whatever.
I already told Turner when he asked me about being an FTO. I said absolutely not. I said I don't have interest in being an FTO. I said, but I know that we have a deficit. I'd be willing to help you out, but I don't want to make this a permanent thing. And he was well aware
You're
of
not the
that.
only one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of FTOs that just don't want to do it forever. But it's sort of like they're setting us up to be the ones to do it forever. But I have a question for you. You said the management issue. That's not just something I brought up. That it's completely mismanaged.
Somebody has stated that it feels like there's an inconsistency from the top. And kind of went into detail that it feels like each shift is operated very differently. And it doesn't feel like the UPD is consistent across the board. Which I think would fall under poor management. Or could be argued as being followed under poor management.
My issue is they're not budgeting correctly. They're not budgeting the people correctly. They think that people will just fall out of the trees. Put it this way. Do you feel like you can take a week off as a senior officer? One of two.
You want me to answer that honestly? Off the record?
Yes.
I don't give a flying fuck if this place burnt down in a week.
Okay. I guess if...
On the record, they're going to have to figure it out. If I can't be here, they'll figure it out. And if they can't, they're going to have to.
Well, on a larger scale, they hired, what, like 30 people
That was probably a
total?
little too blunt.
10 in each shift?
Boxing with the raid, I appreciate
Is
you. How
that
you
an
doing? Hope
accurate
you're doing
number?
well. What's good? Thank you.
And they thought that was going to work. That was going to cover all 3 shifts and everyone's going to be around. And then the expectation is that they would do, you know, the
Hey, Evola, I guess it's your turn until Duncan wakes the fuck up.
Where'd it go?
We got banned. Banned, done. We flew too close to the sun. Oh, man. Yeah, I know the extensively long meeting stuff is a lot. I think a lot of what Duncan is stating is actually true. I do think that there is maybe a management issue at the moment on the way that they're viewing how skeleton crew should be functioning. Here's the reality though. Here's the hard to swallow pill. If some the analogy that I know we memed about writing down, if a wheel is turning and it is squeaky and you don't want to address the squeak, it's gonna keep fucking squeaking, right? If you tell someone that pan is hot, you need to turn the heat off before you can